TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem, and in today's top stories. The Iranian-proxy Hezbollah launched a barrage of rockets towards Israel earlier today, drawing retaliatory bombardments on southern Lebanon. Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi voices his government's keen aspiration to reach a negotiated solution that will have U.S. sanctions against the Islamic Republic removed. The United States warns Iran that the process to reach a negotiated solution for the 2015 nuclear agreement cannot go on indefinitely. Hezbollah operatives launched a barrage of rockets from southern Lebanon toward Israel's northern communities earlier today, drawing Israeli retaliatory response by means of artillery fire. Shortly before 11 p.m., the Lebanese Iranian proxy indiscriminately launched 19 rockets, 3 of which failed to cross into Israeli territory. According to the IDF spokesperson's unit, 10 rockets were intercepted by aerial defense troops and 6 exploded in open areas in the north of the country, while adding that there were no reports of injuries or damage. The IDF's 411th Artillery Battalion immediately responded to the location from which the indiscriminate rocket fire originated.
סוללות הגדוד הגיבו בצורה עוצמתית ומהירה ובצורה מדויקת למספר מטרות ארטילריות וכרגע ערוכות לבצע ירי נוסף אם וכאשר נצטרך לו.
The battalion commander further underscored that the mission of the Israeli troops aims at protecting the northern residents of the Jewish state.
גדוד 411 פרוס לאורך כל גבול לבנון, מהים ועד רמת הגולן. משימתו היא להגן על תושבי הצפון מכל איום שהוא.
In contrast to previous cross-border rocket fire in which, according to the IDF, Palestinian organizations fired from Lebanon toward Israeli territory, as was the case 2 days ago when rockets targeted the Israeli town of Kiryat Shmona, the Iranian proxy Hezbollah has claimed responsibility for today's aggression. In its statement, Hezbollah wrote, at 11:15 a.m. on Friday, and in response to the Israeli air raids on open lands in the Al Yarmak and Al Shawakir areas on Thursday night, groups of the martyr Ali Kamel Mohsen and the martyr Muhammad Qasim Tahan of the Islamic resistance bombed open lands near military bases of the Israeli occupation forces in occupied Sheba farms with dozens of 122mm rockets. It is important to note, however, that Hezbollah's claim of proportionality in reference to bombing open lands near military bases is sheer deception. The rockets used by Hezbollah are so-called statistical missiles which strike indiscriminately in a general direction, and the fact that the IDF's Iron Dome aerial defense batteries were activated, a system which fires exclusively toward missiles with a trajectory toward populated areas, indicates that the rocket fired by Hezbollah merely missed its aspired targets. With that being said, Hezbollah's failure to attain any tactical achievement leaves a door open for de-escalation, which the IDF is seemingly utilizing. IDF spokesman Brigadier General Ran Kochav said in a statement that Hezbollah fired toward open areas based on our understanding and reports on social media to convince of his control over South Lebanon, in response to the retaliatory strikes conducted by the Israeli Air Force and Artillery Battalion a day prior, in which 122 of Hezbollah's military infrastructure were targeted. Meanwhile, it is important to note that Hezbollah has deliberately launched the rockets towards Israel from an area of the village Hasbaya, which is mainly inhabited by the Druze community alongside several Christian families that are overall considered to be opponents of the Iranian proxy. However, when the Druze residents of the village discovered that the rocket fire was conducted from their lands, they immediately rushed towards the militants and confronted them before forcing them out of the village, which ended the rocket fire towards Israel prematurely. Meanwhile, several kilometers southwest from Hasbaya, at the predominantly Christian Druze town of Eib el-Saki, A resident voiced her anguish with regard to the volatile situation.
نحن صراحة ما قلنا ذنب يعني باللي عم يصير، ما بعرف هن هيك شو لوين ناويين يوصلوا، بس شي بخوف صراحة يعني مش لعب الخبرية أبداً. ما بدنا حرب يعني ما حدا محضر لهيدا الحرب، يعني بعد ما لحقنا نخلص ونتنفس شوي من الحرب كمان بدنا نجي وكل فترة بعد فترة هيك ضربة، ما حرام ولو حرام عليهم رحية الله يعني يتركونا بحالنا شوي.
Turning to Tehran, where during the inauguration ceremony of the Islamic Republic's new president, Ebrahim Raisi, with Hezbollah Deputy Secretary General Naim Qassem, head of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad Ziad al-Nahala, and Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh, along other heads of internationally recognized terror groups receiving a front row seat, Raisi cynically insisted that the power of Iran is a stabilizing factor to regional stability, all the while warning Tehran's enemies not to meddle in regional affairs.
در پیشگاه قرآن کریم و در برابر ملت ایران به خداوند قادر متعال سوگند یاد می‌کنم که پاسدار مذهب رسمی و نظام جمهوری اسلامی و قانون اساسی کشور باشم. قدرت جمهوری اسلامی ایران در منطقه امنیت ساز است. دخالت بیگانگان در منطقه هیچ مشکلی را حل نمی کند، بلکه خود مشکل است.
President Raisi further utilized the presence of the European Union's Deputy Secretary General and Political Director of the European External Action Service, Enrique Mora, who serves as coordinator of the stalled nuclear talks in Vienna, to signal Iran's determination to reach an agreement by diplomatic means.
تحریم‌ها علیه ملت ایران باید لغو گردد. از هر طرح دیپلماتیک که این هدف را محقق کند حمایت خواهیم کرد. مردم می‌خواهند که با رفع تنگناها معیشت و سفره آنها بهبود بخشیده شود. مردم می‌خواهند نشاط ملی و شعور اجتماعی در جامعه گسترش یابد.
In response to Raisi's statements, U.S. State Department spokesman Ned Price highlighted that while the United States is determined to defend and advance its national security interests and those of its partners, it is also prepared to reach a negotiated solution that will see both Washington and Tehran return to mutual compliance with the 2015 nuclear agreement.
Well, we wouldn't want to weigh in on the messages that the new Iranian president may or may not be sending. What I can say is that our message to President Raisi is the same as our message to his predecessors, and that is very simple. The U.S. will defend and advance our national security interests and those of our partners. We hope that Iran seizes the opportunity now to advance diplomatic solutions and the diplomatic solutions that are before all of us. We're waiting to see, as I've said before, the approach that the new government in Iran will take, and we will in turn respond in consultation with our partners. For our part, we've made very clear that we are prepared to return to Vienna to resume negotiations. We are prepared to do that for one simple reason, and that goes back to the message, our message to President Raisi. Doing so is in our national security interests. It is in our national security interests and in the national security interests of our allies and our partners the world over to once again permanently and verifiably ensure that Iran is not able to acquire a nuclear weapon. We urge Iran to return to the negotiations soon so that we can seek to conclude our work. We've heard what the new Iranian president has had to say on that score.
The State Department spokesman did emphasize, however, that Washington's preparedness to revive the nuclear deal does have an expiration date.
This process cannot go on indefinitely. The opportunity to achieve a mutual return to compliance with the JCPOA won't last forever. The longer this goes on, the advantages to our national security that would be accrued by a mutual return to compliance will start to chip away by the advancements that Iran is able to make while the shackles are at present removed from its nuclear program. So we're mindful of that, and that's why we urge the new Iranian government to return to diplomacy.
Thank you for watching us. As part of TV7 Israel's prayer initiative, I would like to encourage you today to join the team and me here in Jerusalem to lift up Belgium in prayer for its salvation and peace, alongside prayers for our persecuted brothers and sisters worldwide, in addition to our ongoing prayers, of course, for the peace of Jerusalem and the salvation of Israel. Separately, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you who have partnered with TV7 by means of prayer and finance. Your dedicated support is a key factor to our ongoing operations. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you an Erev Tov v'Shabbat Shalom u'Mevorach. We will see you again on Monday at the same time.